The mystery of the Point Pleasant lights in the quiet town of Point Pleasant, an extraordinary event, forever changed the lives of its inhabitants. In the early morning of September 12, 1997, the sky became the stage for a phenomenon that defies explanation to this day. Witnesses report seeing triangular lights hovering over the town, moving in ways impossible for conventional aircraft. Clocks stopped for exactly 12 minutes throughout the town. Most disturbing, however, was what happened to the children of the town, all under 12 years old, woke up at the exact same moment at 3:17 a.m., walking to their windows in a silent trance, staring fixedly at the sky. It all started when several residents spotted 3 lights forming a perfect triangular pattern above the town. What made the sighting even more disturbing was these objects' ability to remain completely motionless for long periods, only to accelerate to extraordinary speeds without emitting any sound. "I was coming back from work when I saw it," says Maria Jenkins, one of the first witnesses. "The lights just hovered there, as if they were observing us. Then, in an instant, they disappeared over the horizon faster than any plane could fly." The impact was even more frightening for rural residents. Frank Wilson, a local farmer, reports that his wheat field was marked with perfect geometric patterns. The same night, they looked like symbols, like a language I've never seen before. The strangest thing is that the wheat wasn't broken or damaged, just bent with impossible precision. What became impossible to ignore were the unusual phenomena recorded throughout the region. Animals reacted strangely. Horses broke through fences in panic. Birds flew disoriented into structures, and the town's dogs howled in unison for hours. Electronic instruments captured anomalous data. Audio recordings registered an ultrasonic hum that, when analyzed later, revealed patterns that cryptography experts described as mathematically impossible to occur naturally. Sheriff Roy Granger was known for his skepticism. As the local authority for more than 2 decades, he was accustomed to dealing with exaggerated reports and fanciful stories. However, what he witnessed that night completely changed his worldview. "I received several calls about strange lights and disturbances," Granger reported in his controversial official testimony. "When I arrived at the scene, I saw something I cannot explain. The light had an almost conscious presence, as if it had eyes that saw through me." Days after this encounter, Granger requested leave from his duties. Close friends report that he became reclusive, paranoid, and constantly talked about messages he received during sleep. What remains known is that Granger left a detailed diary about his experiences after the event. The document, kept secret by his family, mentions nighttime visitations and complex drawings he felt compelled to make upon waking. His wife, Evelyn Granger, revealed in a rare interview, Roy never had any artistic talent before that night. Suddenly, he spent hours drawing complex mathematical structures that were later discovered to be advanced representations of quantum physics. He had no way of knowing these concepts. The most disturbing aspect about the Granger case were the physical transformations recorded in his medical file. In the 2 months following the incident, the sheriff lost 37 pounds, developed extreme sensitivity to light, and began demonstrating unusual abilities. He could memorize pages of books in seconds and solve complex equations without any prior training, reveals Dr. Peterson, his personal physician. His electroencephalogram showed patterns that had never been seen in 40 years of practice. One of the most intriguing aspects of this case was the disappearance of Jennifer Simmons, a local teenager who was filming the sky with her camera when the lights appeared. The young woman vanished that same night, leaving only her handycam behind. "We found the camera 2 days later, partially damaged," explains Detective Marcus Collins, who investigated the case. "The tape showed Jennifer filming the sky when, suddenly, she screamed looking upward. The image turned completely white and the recording ended." This tape, which could have been the most concrete evidence of the events that night, inexplicably disappeared from the evidence room at the local police station. Jennifer's parents never gave up finding answers. After years of legal battles, they gained partial access to classified documents about the investigation. The case took an even more enigmatic turn when, exactly 7 years after the disappearance, Jennifer's room was found completely reorganized during one night without anyone having entered the house. "Everything was different, as if she had just tidied up," says her father, William Simmons, with tears in his eyes. Even more disturbing was the discovery of a modern USB drive on the bed, a device that didn't even exist when she disappeared. When examined, It contained only a 47-second audio file with a distorted voice repeating geographical coordinates and a date, September 12, 2026. What makes the Point Pleasant case truly unique is its recurring nature. Since that fateful September night, residents report seeing the same triangular lights returning annually, always on the same date. It's as if they keep a calendar, observes astronomy professor Robert Taylor, who has studied the phenomenon for years. The precision with which they return is disconcerting. This isn't a meteorological or astrological coincidence. Witness accounts suggest that subsequent appearances seem less invasive, as if the visitors were merely observing. Some residents believe there is an ongoing count that something is being monitored or measured. The pattern of visits revealed a mathematical progression that intrigues scientists. Each year, the lights remain exactly 7.3 minutes longer in the sky. In 2019, a research team from the University of Michigan managed to capture radio frequencies emitted during the visitation. The data revealed a numerical sequence that, when converted to astronomical coordinates, pointed directly to a star system 47 light-years from Earth. The most impressive thing, confides Dr. Eliza Montgomery, is that the sequence ends with a precise date, September 12, 2026. In 2023, Dr. Hiroshi Nakamura, an expert in complex patterns from Kyoto University, applied pattern recognition algorithms to data on the specific durations and configurations of the lights over the years. What we found defies any conventional explanation, he states in his controversial article. The appearances aren't just periodic visits, they form a complex three-dimensional algorithm when mapped over time. The exact positions in the sky, the precise duration, the light intensity, everything follows a sophisticated mathematical sequence that seems to be building something. Over the years, various theories have emerged to explain the events at Point Pleasant. Skeptics point to secret military tests, rare atmospheric phenomena, or mass hysteria. Others believe in extraterrestrial visits or even interdimensional manifestations. The proximity to an abandoned nuclear silo added another layer of mystery. That structure was officially deactivated in 1988, but many of us saw government activity there until the mid-90s, reports Joseph Winter, a longtime resident. A group of independent researchers using thermal imaging equipment and electromagnetic field detector. The readings indicated an active energy source at least 90 meters below the deepest known point of the silo, explains Dr. Vanessa Rodriguez, a geophysicist who participated in the expedition. Even more alarming were the audio recordings. When amplified and processed, they revealed what seemed to be a mechanical voice, repeating a numerical sequence at precise 47-second intervals. One of the most controversial theories emerged in 2018, when Dr. Malcolm Hayes, a former DARPA physicist who worked on classified projects, came forward with surprising statements after being diagnosed with terminal cancer. Point Pleasant isn't about extraterrestrial visitors in the conventional sense, he stated in an interview that was quickly removed from all online platforms. What we witnessed is a temporal convergence, a point where different timelines momentarily meet. Hayes claimed that secret experiments conducted in the silo during the Cold War created a stable fissure in the space-time continuum. The entities don't come from another planet, but from another version of Earth, possibly from our own future. What they seek isn't invasion, but correction. According to Hayes, the recurring sightings are attempts to calibrate the fissure for a final convergence event predicted for 2026. The phenomenon changed Point Pleasant from a quiet country town to a destination for the curious. The local economy adapted to ufological tourism, with souvenir shops, guided tours, and a small museum dedicated to the events of 1997 annually. During the week of September 12th, the town's population practically doubles. Hundreds of people camp in elevated areas, hoping to witness the return of the lights. The deepest impact, however, manifests in the local traditions that emerged after the events. Children born after 1997 participate in a curious school ritual every September 12th. They are instructed to draw what they see in their dreams, without any other guidance. A local teacher, Diana Matthews, maintains an archive with more than 2 decades of these drawings. The pattern is impossible to ignore, she explains. Approximately 70% of the children, regardless of age, draw variations of the same triangular symbol, often with almost identical internal patterns. Even more disturbing, the similarity between the drawings increases each passing year. It's as if they're gradually tuning into the same frequency, Matthews observes, and in the last 2 years, many children wrote the same phrase on the edges of the drawings. Not long now, when questioned about the meaning, they can't explain why they wrote it. Even after nearly 3 decades, the fundamental questions remain unanswered. What were those lights? Why did they choose Point Pleasant? What happened to Jennifer Semines? And why has Sheriff Granger never spoken publicly about the incident again? What makes the Point Pleasant mystery particularly relevant today are the growing anomalies recorded in the region. Since 2020, scientific equipment installed by independent researchers shows inexplicable magnetic fluctuations that increase in intensity each year. Even more concerning are the selective reports of temporal disorientation experienced by visitors to the region. In January 2024, 3 independent researchers using advanced detection equipment recorded something even more alarming. For 47 seconds, their instruments detected 2 distinct temporal signatures coexisting in the same physical space, as if 2 realities were briefly superimposed. Perhaps one of the most unsettling developments came from local resident Emma Harlow, whose 6-year-old daughter began speaking fluently in an unknown language during sleep exactly 47 days after the 2023 light appearance. Linguistics professors from 3 universities analyzed recordings of the child's nocturnal speech patterns and concluded it contained systematic structure consistent with a real language, but matching no known human tongue. The phonological pattern suggests a highly complex, information-dense communication system, noted Dr. Rebecca Chun of Columbia University. What's particularly striking is that when played at 1/3 speed, portions of the audio create recognizable mathematical sequences. The girl herself has no memory of these episodes, but has developed an uncanny ability to solve complex spatial puzzles that would challenge most adults. Local authorities have attempted to downplay these events, but their efforts have been undermined by increasingly visible military presence around the abandoned silo. Satellite imagery from commercial services revealed the construction of a sophisticated monitoring station disguised as a weather research facility half a mile from the silo's entrance when journalist Thomas Reynolds attempted to investigate in October 2023. He was detained for 72 hours by unmarked officials who confiscated all his equipment. After his release, Reynolds discovered that a perfect triangular symbol had been tattooed on his inner wrist while he was unconscious. More disturbing still, medical scans revealed a microscopic metallic object embedded near his brainstem that emits regular pulses precisely every 47 seconds. 3 separate surgeons refused to remove it, each backing out after receiving mysterious phone calls the night before the scheduled procedures. The scientific community remains deeply divided on the Point Pleasant phenomenon. Dr. Elizabeth Warren, an astrophysicist who analyzed data from the recurring events, resigned abruptly from Princeton University in 2022 after 2 decades of distinguished research. She retreated to a remote cabin in Montana, where she constructed an elaborate observatory using seemingly advanced technology. Her only communication with former colleagues has been a series of encrypted messages containing coordinates that, when plotted, form a perfect model of what theoretical physicists call a temporal junction point, a hypothetical location where multiple timelines might intersect. Her final message before cutting all contact reads simply, "They aren't visitors, they're coming home." 2026 isn't the beginning, it's the correction. As the calendar approaches another anniversary of the incident, eyes again turn to the sky above Point Pleasant. Meanwhile, everything seems to point to a specific date, September 12, 2026, when, according to the observed patterns, the circle finally closes.